So, but I did have to look into a few other things because actually, is this lowered enough? That's fine. Are there subtitles? Because I want to talk about that. They mention in the beginning of the trailer his parents cut their own rope. Now, they did not. In the original novels, in the original Fleming novels, he was 11 and he went to live with his aunt after they died in a climbing accident. It wasn't like something tragic that Bond was there for. So I'm interested to see where they go with this part of the origin story, because they also mention Iceland being a mission he goes on, which I'm hoping is the pre-title sequence. So if he goes on a mission to Iceland and does all that, I was gonna say wacky shit, but he does like all of his James Bond expertise, does he learn his love of climbing or like his ability to climb from this accident? I'm interested. Bring on the Snyder bots. Oh yes, Patrick, you know that too well. You're like the most polite person on Twitter ever, Patrick. I gotta say to you. Spectre. Oh no, Henry. That was Skyfall, but also GoldenEye. Because in GoldenEye, I think GoldenEye is the first time in the films Bond's parents are mentioned. I think. You know, apparently. But also, I think at one point, Patrick's like right after we started following each other, right after we started dealing with each other on Twitch, you tweeted something, and somebody like pressed you, and you just like you backed off, and you're like, hey, you were very nice, you were polite, you're Canadian, and you're like, hey, I'm sorry, and I was like, no, Patrick, stand firm. And I don't know if you did, but I remember saying that to you. Like I responded to your tweet under that guy's tweet, and I was like, no, be firm. Oh yeah, Blofeld. Yeah, Blofeld was like, "Lol, it's me, the author of all your pain." I didn't hate I didn't hate Spectre, but it wasn't good. You know, I didn't hate it. The family by then? Yes, he was living with the Oberhausers in the movies. He was living with them. I don't think. Where the I know Franz Oberhauser was in the novels, but I don't remember exactly where in the novels. I will say Live and Let Die is probably the best novel of the bunch. I agree. I agree, Patricks. If the whole movie was black and white, I would have been okay with that. And then you let in like maybe it's like Saboteur. It gradually gets color back as he becomes Bond. But I feel like that'd been too meta. It's true actually, Henry. Nick is right. I've been. I think I even put on Instagram, because on Instagram I was like, yeah, if you guys see any Bond stuff come up on Instagram now, it's because we're part of the partner program. So I'll put more stuff out for Bond. And I've been watching these movies since before I could walk. And I've been playing GoldenEye since before I could walk. So like a lot of people are like, wow, you like Indiana Jones and Star Wars. Only because there's not as much Bond stuff to show. Like, oh yeah, Saboteur is a great game too. I love Saboteur. I also appreciate that Bone bought it for me on Steam, so now I can play it on PC. That's a great game. So yeah, I need to up this volume, I think.
Then found his way off that mountain.
There we go.
He was 11 years old.
He then started a grand tour of every major boarding school in Britain.
Always at the top of his...
New Steam PS3. Doesn't that come with every copy of the game though, as long as it was new? Wasn't that part of EA's thing to like get them, like for you to buy the game new? Wasn't that at that point, Patrick? So like, if you buy the game new, you can redeem this code for naughty time. Interesting, Jamie. Actually, no, I do understand why, because Casino Royale, I will give it props. It is probably my top 20 films ever made. Casino Royale, because it's well written, well directed, well acted. I don't like Daniel Craig as a person. Well, mostly as an actor, I think he's a little overrated, but he does well. Mads Mikkelsen, Judi Dench, Eva Green, everyone knocks it out of the park. The writing is great, the action's great. It's directed a lot like Raiders of the Lost Ark with its action sequences. But I feel like Casino Royale as a Bond movie, I can't enjoy it as a Bond movie. So that's why it's like in the rankings of films, it's at the very bottom. But in terms of like how much I love it, I'm glad I have the Steelbook, and I'm glad I have it in 4K, because if I'm not in a Bond mood, but if I'm in a spy mood, it goes on. It gets thrown on. It's so good. It's a phenomenal film. I don't want to say I wish it wasn't attached to Bond, but I kind of wish it wasn't attached to Bond. But also, if it wasn't attached to Bond, we wouldn't have had Quantum of Solace, pretty much Casino Royale, the video game, and it was great. So I don't know. I'm kind of surprised they didn't make another game with that style, but I guess Pandemic, they went under after Saboteur, right? Did Saboteur not sell enough? I could see that.
Class.
Always
Where are my
at
subtitles?
odds with
YouTube has
authority,
subtitles.
Same thing in the Navy.
His superiors all praise his instincts.
And they're all in need of early retirement. Nobody knows what to do with him, Mom.
No, and I suspect he feels the same way. But what he did in Iceland...
What he did in Iceland was insubordination.
I hope that's the
Ill
pre-title
discipline.
sequence. I'll take a minute here. I hope that's the pre-title sequence, because every Bond game that I can think of, at least after the N64 PS1 or Agent Under Fire. Agent Under Fire did not have a title song, but Nightfire, Everything or Nothing, From Russia with Love. From Russia with Love kind of copied and pasted the movie's intro sequence, and that's fine, at least with the music. Even GoldenEye Rogue Agent had an original song, I think. I think it was an original song. It was just instrumental, but it had an original song. Quantum had an original song. GoldenEye Reloaded had a remake. Bloodstone had its own song. Legends did not have a song, because Legends was poopy. I really hope Legends didn't destroy the custom of every Bond game having the opening mission, the title sequence, and then the real game, because I love that. I love that in the older games. I would love that now. Even if they're like, yeah, you boot the game up, you get thrown right into the first mission, which is a tutorial, I would be cool with that. They did that for every game. Every game except Legends. Every game except Legends threw you right into the game as soon as you turned it on, and that was your starting file. You saw the gun barrel as soon as you were done seeing the PS2 logo or the Xbox logo or the GameCube logo. You saw the gun barrel and the game started, and you were playing. I want that again. Gimme. I think Indiana Jones did pretty much that, because when you start up Indiana Jones and you press, like, you're good, you agree, start game, it just throws you into the intro of Raiders. And then you play the intro of Raiders, which I really liked. Henry, I'm very interested as to why Quantum is the weakest. I mean, I can agree from like a direct, like everything standpoint. Oh, okay, my chair's slipping off the mat. That's what's going on here. That's why I'm like going this way. But because the writing team was on strike at the time, so Daniel Craig and Mark Forrester, the director, had to write scenes on the fly. Which is also why the Quantum of Solace video game is just Casino Royale, the video game. And it's fun.
Reckless. He only survived thanks to blind luck. Give me one good reason to put him in the program, Mom.
That's the guy from Walking Dead, isn't
I
it?
think you just...
I think it is, but I never sat and confirmed it. Oh no, it's buffering.
Is a
There we go.
bullet without a target. Let's give him one.
Also, apparently this guy is young Dexter. I had no idea. I thought this was an original face model. But from what I hear as well, in this game, Bond is going to be 26. For reference, Big Boss is 29 in Metal Gear Solid 3. And when this game comes out, I'm guessing it's going to be in the end of March. I'm going to be 27, so that's kind of scary. I don't want to play a James Bond game where I'm I'm older than James Bond. But actually, no. Actually, can I? Like, can I do this? I can do that! Thank you! Thank you, Nick! I thought if I did, it was going to break it. So...
James Bond. He's with me.
And you are?
I really thought if I did, it was going to break it. So thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. Because as people have seen, I don't really use PC. I don't really do reaction stuff. So this is the most I've gotten into it. So let's back up a little bit. Let's do that. Let's back up. Maybe like right here. Hey, Sax. Using compared to the other plots? Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, sex, how was Hogwarts? But no, I totally get you, Henry, because, like, the whole Bolivia water thing, it's an odd choice. Um, yeah.
Grand tour of every
Okay, but
major
now
boarding
we're back.
school in
We
Britain.
can.
Always at the top of his class.
Thank you for letting me know I can max through the window on
At
this.
odds with authority, same thing in the Navy.
His superiors all praise his instincts.
And they're all in need of early retirement. Nobody
Less than a year and a half with. Jamie, you look really good for your age. So do you, Patrick's. Like, I thought, Patrick's, I thought you, like, we talked about this. I thought you were about my age. Jamie, I thought you were maybe 5 years younger than me. Wow. We all look really good for our age, I suppose.
knows what to do with him, Mom.
No, and I suspect he feels the same
My chair
way.
keeps creaking anymore. I'm old.
But what he did in Iceland,
What he did in Iceland was insubordination. It was ill-disciplined, utterly reckless. He only survived thanks to blind luck. Give me one
Miss-
good reason to put him
Good
in
man.
the program, Mom.
I think you just covered them all, Greenway.
Okay, here it always he seems to
Bond
catch.
is a
That's
bullet
weird.
Without a target. Let's give him one.
Okay, at least even seeing the MGM logo does give me a little hope. Well, since we're talking about pre-title sequences, that they might give us the MGM logo in the beginning of the game and then go gun barrel. But do you think they'll give us the gun barrel if they're going as far back like Casino Royale and they're saying like this is an origin story? He's not quite Bond yet. Because that's all well and good. I want my gun barrel. So to me, that's Bond.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
I'm gonna move
James
that back. I
Bond.
feel like I'm a little too close.
He's with me.
And you are? Don't think we've had the pleasure.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, James.
Okay, so we still have product placement. I thought we did, but I just wanted to be sure. We still have Omega watches left over from the Craig era. I forgot what brand Brosnan wears, but is it Omega or Omega? I don't know. But with stuff like this, I feel like we're getting back to the fun gadgets, and that's good because we have the big ol' not big ol' Q branch. It feels like everything behind that desk might just be MI6 with Q's stuff in the back. But well, we'll keep going a little bit. See. Okay, yeah, it says Triumph on it. You know what other Bond game uses the Triumph Daytona? Everything or Nothing. And that game is goated. That is I don't want to just keep saying like the older Brosnan games are great, but they are. Nightfire and Everything or Nothing in particular have aged, I want to say, pretty well. Everything or Nothing is a great cover-based shooter with stealth mechanics. Nightfire is one of the best first-person shooters ever made. Like, I will sit here and say GoldenEye is my favorite FPS game, but I will acknowledge that Nightfire has more technological advancements to make it more fun. So. Oh, I guess not, Henry. No. They're like, you know who else is a really good spy? Big Boss. We need to talk about Big Boss. And so they brought him in with a bike. Okay, so. Gadgets cool. Yes. Pen? Yeah, I was. And actually, Patrick's one thing that I picked up in Skyfall, and I even asked my brother when I left the theater at 13 years old, was Bond hears about the bombing at MI6 from CNN. So, in GoldenEye, again, this could be a bit of a reach. In GoldenEye, when Bond asks if the images he's seeing of the tiger at Severnaya are live, M says we don't get, unlike the American government, we don't get our bad news from CNN. Was that a nod to GoldenEye? That Bond found out about the bombing through CNN? Oh yeah, Henry, like, and Patrick's. That's why I didn't really like Craig. His movies were a little too serious. At first, it was interesting, and then I just kind of got tired of it. Because even Roger Moore, he danced. He didn't really dance on the line. stampeded over it to each movie. Because you had Live and Let Die, which was really serious, Golden Gun, which wasn't, Spy Who Loved Me, which towed the line, Moonraker wasn't, For Eyes Only was, Octopussy certainly was not, and then Feud to a Kill went further into was not. So at least he flipped back and forth. Spectre was probably the only Craig movie that wasn't super, super serial, and I mean, I liked it. But I think I liked it because it was goofy, not because I'll actually want to watch it again, because I haven't seen it in years. Not since I ranked all the Bond movies, so.
We're facing a situation of the utmost delicacy. I need all my pieces on the board.
Okay, so. This is a little bit of gameplay. Some of the gameplay we're going to see, because I don't want to like get too far and then miss things. But for this style of gameplay, it makes me think of the Hitman games, which I know it's the same company, so it pretty much might be Hitman. But even the crouching style looks just like Hitman, but also it does remind me of Everything or Nothing. So with this and the exploration and the hand-to-hand combos and doing that in stealth, it really reminds me. Oh, nice Commercial Love reference here. But it makes me excited. This game could be a whole playground. I don't think they're going to go the RPG route, if that makes sense. I think that'd be a little too much, and that means that if you go silently, different cutscenes will happen as opposed to shooting everything, which I'm okay with. Because, going silently was something I developed more as a skill as I got older with Everything or Nothing and Nightfire, for example. But I want the option just to blast everything because that's what I did in the older Bond games. Is it what Bond would do? Probably not. Is it what fun Bond would do? Yes. Because have you seen the end of Everything or Nothing? Bond infiltrates an old Soviet underground base full of missiles and just kills everything. It's fantastic. It's a great game.
Is we won't see it coming.
Okay, so those bits of gameplay. And I understand. Yes, underground lair. And, actually, Patrick, you know how he infiltrates the underground lair? He drops a statue of Willem Dafoe into Red Square. He gets the helicopter to drop it, and it creates a crevice, which makes a hole down to the underground lair. It's great. Yeah, it looks different enough to Hitman that I'm not scared of it just being like Hitman. I mean, it looks like it could be like Hitman, but not too much where I'm just like, it's Hitman. Because, hang on. We have the environment, the over-the-shoulder shooting. That. Wait, he threw a gun at him. Hang on, I thought that was just like something he picked up off the table. Hang on. Hang on. And he fights ninjas too? Come on. Yeah, that's a gun. He throws a gun at his throat. Okay, so yeah, they even take things from the Craig movies and make them more fun. Because remember in Casino Royale, after the parkour chase, when what's his nuts? I forgot his name. Malaka? Was that the bomb maker's name? I think. His gun is empty, and he tries to fire at Bond, misses, throws it at Bond, he catches it and throws it back. So, in bird culture? What you mean bird culture, Henry? But yeah, I think it makes me excited. This could be a playground, which is also why I love GoldenEye. Where I'm like, yeah, GoldenEye's my favorite because you can be stealthy, you can kill everything, you can blow everything up, you can ignore everything and just do the objective. And this looks like it could be just that. Also, I'm not big on the costume, but knowing developers anymore, they could just be they could be using one model to get all the gameplay and then throwing in the costume later because we have different models later on in cutscenes. So I could totally see that happening, but I don't know because I'm not big on the leather jacket black pants combo for Bond. I don't know. For me, I'm not feeling it. I understand it's supposed to be a younger Bond. He's not as refined yet, I guess. He's more of a rugged tool than a sophisticated weapon. But I would like to see the real tux. I know if you played Hitman 3 and you got the Sheaf and you killed the Sheaf, you got his tux for the game. You got it through a Twitch drop also, I believe. Um, but I would like, the white, the black, maybe even the dinner jacket with the red. The environment. Actually, Henry, let's keep going a little bit. That might be it. Let's bring similar stuff. Can we get a shot out? Oh, there we go. Hang on. Okay. Ooh, okay. So, the jacket does look pretty similar, but not similar enough. You might be onto something there, Henry, because this is the suit he has on all the promo work. So you could be onto something there, because he could be trying to blend into the shadows. But I need to see more of it to know. I do also I don't want to call it Levolution, but again, I do like the destruction, because it's like the other Bond games. I think these guys are really taking lead from the older EA Bond games, and I like that. Because that game, you were rewarded for thinking like Bond. If you saw a gas tank in the back of the room, and there was a chain reaction that could set off and mess with people, you got extra points. You got the Bond moment or the Bond move for thinking like Bond. I like that. And also, it kind of reminds me of not entirely Rainbow Six Siege, but you guys know how they did Siege X recently, how they updated it for the 10th year anniversary. They added fire extinguishers and gas pipes. I don't know why they added gas pipes. That's probably the dumbest thing they could have added. But my favorite thing to do for those is to put explosives on those, tripwires exactly, and then if people walk by them, they just die in a single hit because it's a gas main. And even when the trailer came out, I'm like, that's gonna be exploited. That's gonna be treated like thinking like Bond, and it was. So. Oh yeah, it's been 10 years of Siege. And I don't want to say I think this is our replacement for a tux, but it might be because it's formal wear. I'm interested to see where this is going to be used, but I don't want this to replace the tux. I want to see the tux. But also, this could be like end game. He just broke out of prison, and he's wearing like a formal getup they gave him. I could see that happening as well. Like Dr. No. A little bit. Hopefully like Dr. No. Is it? Ooh. Actually, that's a good question, Nick, because I don't know. I feel like IO Interactive would reward you if they do medals and everything. They would reward you more for not engaging than taking down. But if they do give you medals for taking down, oh, that'd be great. Oh, that'd be good. I'd be so happy. I'm also expecting this to come out end of March, beginning of April. I'm expecting this near my birthday. So, please let me down. Please don't let me down. IO Interactive, please. Please. Because this would just be a great birthday gift, especially if I'm just like, you know what, we're going to stream all day. We're just going to stream all day, and we're going to have a good time. I'm just going to play Bond. Some flirting in the tux. I would hope so at the very least. The flirting he does in this trailer, I think he does in the leather jacket. Actually, Patrick's, I'd be interested in that. I'm also trying to figure out where this suit is from. I feel like this is a custom in something I'm not well versed in, but it's interesting. But I feel like they may want to work up to that, Patrick's. I'm not against that at all, especially because if they try to loop it back to the old canon somehow, I would love that. But also, when I was thinking about all the reactions I could have earlier, I was thinking back to, wouldn't it be cool? It would take a lot of money, and there would be like 3 games a year, but wouldn't it be cool if we had, Lazenby said he's out. He doesn't want to do Bond anymore. He doesn't want to do appearances. He just wants to retire and disappear. Fair. Dalton and Brosnan, I'm sure you can pay them enough to reprise their roles in video games as voices. So why not be like, hey, Amazon's going to give this company money to make Brosnan their Bond, this company money to make Dalton their Bond, and then have a new guy. But I feel like that might be a little too much. I really want one more game with Dalton and Brosnan before they pass. And I know it's probably going to be I hope it's going to be a long time. But we had one with Connery before he passed. We were supposed to have one with Moore in Agent Under Fire. Agent Under Fire was slated for Moore, but MGM, I believe, came in, or Eon Productions said, we don't want you making a game with Roger Moore. So they had to go with nameless, faceless Bond. But then when they didn't have a Bond, that's when they did Sean Connery in From Russia with Love. So I'm like, can we get one with these guys before something happens to them? Please? But I don't know. I feel like Dalton is happy just being him. I'm sure Brosnan would come back if you just asked him. So, like fun. They don't. Luckily, though, the producers were paid out by Amazon. Because I know I'm not supposed to like dislike them. I did not like Barbara Broccoli. I really didn't. Because you want to know, at least from what I understand, from the articles, from every article I've read, the interesting part as to why Nintendo did not retain the Bond rights after GoldenEye was that Barbara Broccoli was like, yeah, I don't want guns in these games anymore. I don't want Bond to go shooty shooty pew pew. But her father signed the contract to make Bond on a Nintendo console. So, lawyer, you had fun then. Dalton's happy being Dalton? Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, they you had the Broccolis, Albert Broccoli Cubby, who went to Nintendo and said, I love video games, I love you guys, I want you to have the Bond rights for 2 games to publish them. So that's how we got GoldenEye and Bond on the Game Boy. So awesome. Oh yeah, Lawyer and I are watching Lord of the Rings this weekend. I will have them on my Letterboxd with unabashedly honest opinions. So but yeah, that's also why EA ended up with the license, which we got good games from EA. We did. It took them a while, but we got good games because Tomorrow Never Dies is rough. World's Not Enough is fun. Agent of Fire is a little tough. It's like a chewy steak, I would say. Nightfire and Everything or Nothing are top tier. They're great. But watered down marks. Ooh.
Jet lag.
Okay. Double 7 Racing, which just used the same gun barrel as the World Is Not Enough. It is the exact same. But one thing I also liked about this, and I know it's like, wow, Burns, you're getting a lot of thoughts, and I am, because I'm very excited. So with this, I really like that he has that one-liner capacity. It's not the best, but he has one-liner capacity. But I'm also thinking maybe that suit's just a bellhop uniform. In fact, I think it is a bellhop uniform. So I'm interested to see what happened here. You can see my mouse. Cool. Yeah, so you have the open window. It's open that way, so something must have happened. Maybe he threw somebody out the window, which could be a fun boss fight. Not like 007 Legends, where you have people like this, and you have to use the stick to punch underneath it, because that's dumb. But maybe something where you have to throw something. A big henchman! Yes, a big henchman, where you have to throw things at him to get him off balance and wail on him. That would be great. But visual games? Yes. I would love that, Patrick's. I mean, I would also love if this game is mission-based instead of just one long story. Because mission-based, you can do things like medals, unlockables. I don't think they're going to have online multiplayer, which doesn't bug me. It might hurt a little bit, but I don't think they're going to bring on online multiplayer for this game. The only reason I would want that is because I'd be like, hey guys, who wants to play Bond? But I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I could totally see this being like, he gets into a scuffle, and then, yes, I want to play the Apple Arcade game too. That got canceled, didn't it? Because they were releasing it seasonally, I believe. But I'm sure they realized nobody was actually playing it, because I didn't want to pay for the subscription. I wanted to play it, but I didn't want to pay for the subscription, so I didn't play it. But I'm very interested in that, because if I remember correctly, in the Apple Arcade Bond game, what they did was they like mixed and matched a few of the Bond likenesses, mostly into Roger Moore's face. So you play as Roger Moore, and it's Blofeld messing with your mind in a mission, and you have to break out of like that, I don't want to say mind jail, but pretty much. And the first level is evading Alec Trevelyan, who has come in with MI6 to arrest you. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's interesting. But I don't think we'll ever see it on console, which sucks. We got John Wick Hex, right, on console at one point. It's not on there anymore, but my throat's getting a little dry. Okay. But yeah, I want this to be a boss fight, because even with
Jet lag. Gets me
even with this one, she looks important. She looks like, actually, if she's wearing the uniform, because I think she's also in the trailer later on as well. So maybe we're both undercover, we're both agents, but also Bond gets into a fight, throws him out the window, and then just walks off. That is Roger Moore. I want that. I want this.
She's not your friend, Bond. She's an ass.
Hang on. That. Hang on, I'll get there.
She's an
Okay, it's the best we're gonna get, I think, because there we go. Actually, there we go. Remember Casino Royale? Stop touching your ear. I'm interested to see how this plays out. If this is gonna be a callback to Casino Royale, where our target starts to run because they see Bond touching his ear, approaching them. So, thank you, Henry. I appreciate it. See blending? Yeah. You've had this? Good, Kerber. I'm glad. Ah, yes, Patrick. He does have a codec. But even in Casino Royale, he had the. Oh wait, is that a texture mistake? Is that a texture or is it a glitch? What is that there? IO interactive. Right there. You see it? It kind of looks like a little ducky, except it's not. So, of course, you find me to find the game's broken in the trailer. But I'm interested to see how this plays out, because I think this could be a really fun chase scene. This could be a fun fight scene, because I'm thinking back to the last time we saw anything like this, at least that we played in, was GoldenEye, the remake. Not the original, the remake. Because in the remake, you had to go through the club with a Deadmau5 song. I think they licensed a Deadmau5 song for it. And you had to find who was an agent you were looking for. That could be fun to do here. That could be fun to see. I'm interested to see what happens, but we don't know much about it. So. Oh yeah, he's incredibly book accurate. He's even got the scar. Which is why I was shocked to find he was a normal dude. He was a normal face model. I thought this was something they threw together. But I was pretty okay with it. I'm not happy with how young he looks, but that's just because I've mentioned this earlier. I'm older than Bond. So.
With respect, Mom.
Okay. So. Yes. Yes. Just yes. But I'm wondering about these exploding barrels here. Because they have a checker thing over them. Like, they have a checker texture, if you can see that. They have a little texture over them. So I don't know if that means that we can use the laser watch on that to cause explosive damage. Like, maybe collapse this onto him and get a Bond moment. Or if I'm looking too deeply into it. Because I like my gadgets. I miss my gadgets. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking a checkered texture could tell you if a Bond moment is nearby. That's if they bring back the Bond moments. A little Bond moment is nearby. This blows up. The explosion pushes this onto him. Bam. He's out. And you didn't technically kill him. This did it. So that was just an accident of leaving 4 explosive barrels. Is that 5? But 4 explosive barrels next to a pillar. So, oops. And we're going to get high-speed foot chases in parkour, which, I'm not a big fan of if it's scripted. But with all the different cutscenes, all the different things going on here, this could work. Jetpack? Of course not. If he had a jetpack, he could have fried Freddie Mercury and just flown off. But apparently Freddie Mercury was smarter than James Bond and stronger, which makes no sense because he's like a twig. So.
Hell with that.
Oops. Now, I am terrible with car brands. Or not brands. I'm terrible with car models. Aston Martin. But, is this the same Aston Martin as the Living Daylights? Because I was thinking it was, but now I'm not entirely sure. Because they also used that in No Time to Die. They used the same Aston Martin. What's that say? I can't zoom in. It won't let me zoom in, so I don't know. Is that just 5? Platbeau? Is that French? I didn't take French. I took German. I don't know, that's not German. Fünf Plateau! No, it's not German. And, okay. Let me go back. No, back further, sorry. Okay, so there will be driving levels. And that makes me happy, because I suck at driving games. I don't like racing games that much. But I miss driving levels in Bond. I miss driving levels kind of in general anymore. Because it helps break up the gameplay a little bit. It's not the same model. Okay, so I was right to second guess myself. That's good. I don't know what model it would be then. It's got to be, it's older, right? This wouldn't be a new model. Mostly because I don't think cars look like that anymore, but do they? So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm getting out of it, lawyer. If this is close to Everything or Nothing, this will take my game of the year. Easily my game of the year. And like the driving levels help blend to that, especially with like sliding through there, but the plane overhead. Because I don't know if anybody here remembers, actually maybe if somebody knows that sign, they can help me figure out what country we're in, but with a plane going overhead and Everything or Nothing, you had to escape Willem Dafoe's bad guys and ride your vehicle. I think you could have a bike or a truck. I usually chose the bike because it was more maneuverable, but you had to get one of them onto the plane. You had to outrun his goons and get on the plane. So I'm very excited. He's obviously chasing somebody, I believe, but maybe they want to get away on the plane, then we get on the plane. This could be Endgame we're looking at. But I don't want to get too skeptical on that. But it would make sense because even earlier I was like, yeah, he's in the suit. He's picking up he picks up the gun because he's not armed and he just blows people away. This could be the end of the game, and they could just be playing it like, oh, you don't know, which is fair. But also, in the original GoldenEye trailer, not the game, the movie, they totally give away the entire plot of GoldenEye, how 006 is the bad guy. But when they do, there are some shots that I look at now, I'm like, if I hadn't seen the movie, I would think that's the end of the movie. Because when, in the beginning of the movie, in the facility, when Bond is in the closet, and he, presses up against the window, and you see the light hitting his face, they use that in the trailer as being like 006 against 007, the whole world's caught in the crossfire. And I'm like, that looks like it could have been the end of the movie. So, I think I'm thinking too deeply into this. I could very well be. Because I've watched the movies way more than I should have growing up. But this could be, the plane could be the final confrontation, which would be very Bond. I would love that. And this could be the way to get to the final level. Hang on, let me see. Okay, that's, we do get a tux. It's just, you don't get to see a lot of it. We do get a tux. Yeah, we do get a tux. Looks like a white dinner jacket, if I had to guess from the silhouette we have. White dinner jacket, I'm cool with that. The PPK, I'm interested to see what's attached to it, because that looks like a laser sight. Do you think that's the best idea for a secret agent? Because they do it in Metal Gear to help with aiming, and Resident Evil 4 to help with aiming. But you think back to Metal Gear Solid 3. At least because that's what I've been playing mostly. You don't have the laser sight on your gun, also because the laser sight would give you away. So I'm interested to see how that plays into it, but we do get the PPK. Yeah, it does feel like we're merging time periods, which I'm interested to see what happens, because you can tell this is a more modern Bond, especially because in the beginning of it, he takes out his AirPods or whatever to talk to the receptionist, who then brings him to Moneypenny. But I'm interested to see what happens here. But we've got, even the silhouette just screams Bond. But if we're in this kind of setting, you know what this setting reminds me of? License to Kill, Die Another Day, a little bit of Moonraker. So, yes! And that's also just a great series. That's a great series. And a little bit of Archer back when, like, the first 3 seasons, I think they wanted to be ambiguous when it was too. So, actually, no, I think they just forgot what time period they were in and just threw everything in. So, but I'm thinking this could be very good because, yeah, we have fireworks. I was gonna say explosions, fireworks. We have fireworks in the back. We don't exactly know how high we are. We have the mountains and the range, but this feels like the biodome from Die Another Day. And I don't know if I'm just like I'm hoping for that because I like that movie, but it's very exciting. I'm guessing this is the bad guy. It's my guess. But also, actually, I forgot to say earlier, I will be streaming again this week, Wednesday at 2. I believe I put it in Discord because with the Iowa Interactive partnership, they said, yeah, we'd like to have you react and restream the official gameplay reveal at the State of Play. We would like you to do that, and it helps out. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. Even though I'm not a PlayStation guy, but yeah, I'll happily do it for Bond. I watched this State of Play and I came across this trailer, so that was good. But I'm thinking this is our bad guy. But also, everyone else seems to be formally dressed.
Lately.
But Bond has this. But also this could be where earlier he was kicking the crap out of people. So it could be that. This could be his tactical gear, but also formal, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure. Surprise? That's true. The tactile neck. Yes, the tactile neck. So, I don't... Because this isn't formal. Everyone else is formally dressed, though. You got... That's a blazer. At least the collar of a blazer. You got a dress here, another blazer. You got him wearing a full suit.
Headhunting.
Roger Moore right there. Let's see. Formal attire, formal attire, formal attire. Yeah, Bond's just in a tactile neck. So, actually, what could happen, again theorizing, his mission was to break in, do whatever he needs to. He was going to be caught and then ran into the party. And that's when he runs into 009, who was already told that we already been told 009 is the bad guy. I keep hitting my mic, I'm sorry. But I'm going to feel 009 is going to be the bad guy here. Like the guy with the long hair, he recognizes Bond, and it's like a little sparring. To actually bring it back to Holly Gennaro's Christmas Party, Patrick's, it's like in Die Hard when Gruber and McClane meet. It's like that. Because I could see that happening. This guy and Bond are just sparring back and forth because they both know what the other's doing here. I would be okay with that. And I think this is the same woman as before. She's got the same eyes, at least. So, yeah, I think that would be fun. You know these rock formations, everybody? These boats? You know what they remind me of? Man with the Golden Gun. Which makes me think... Could we? No, I know this might be a little too much. Might be a little bit of a reach. Might be a little bit of a reach here. I don't know if they're going to do this. Could we meet Francisco Scaramanga? It's possible, right? So. Okay, same hair. We got people doing that. We got Thunderball coming out of here. Yeah, Thunderball. The shirt, the sunglasses, very Thunderball. Yeah, and I think Patrick's, that's also why, like, I am so, I don't want to say giddy, but I am so giddy about this game. I can't wait. Because this seems like every era of Bond is being appreciated for everything it brought in. Even the music that we're listening to, that's Secret Service, which I understand. It's probably the most emotional Bond movie out of the bunch. I don't know if that's the one we should be latching onto, though. I don't know if that's the one we should keep latching onto, though, as, like, the Bond movie. But it's a good movie. It's a solid 8 out of 10, I think, Secret Service. I don't know if that's, like, the Bond movie for every game, movie, book to latch onto. But this, I'm not quite sure. That's you? No, I just, I think I took a deep breath because my throat was hurting. So, I'm not entirely sure. I feel like, could that be an underwater camera? Could that be snorkeling gear with everything there to get underwater pictures? Could that be a level? Interesting. All right, we're on the bad guy's boat with a different shirt, so we've been captured, I'm guessing. Now this. Let's see if I can get a little further. Yeah, this. So people are here. This is like a tourist kind of thing. Well, not tourist, but like some people are businessy, some people are lab coats. Do we think, again, I could be reaching here, do we think this is the end game? Like, this is the objective. This is what we need to find. Because after also seeing those rocks, the Solex Agitator, golden gun, could they have made the Solex Agitator bigger and more of a threat? I'm happy with this. We get a sword fight. I'm happy with this because this is a Die Another Day reference if they want to reference Die Another Day. And of course we have the obligatory captured. You have to. Actually, yeah, so I'm going to stick with my theory. Bond ends up escaping, going into the party dressed like this. This is his mission. He's captured and he ends up in the party in a sparring match with Bill Clay there. I think that's what's going to happen. Oh, hang on. I hope you can break all of these, or I hope you can get a Bond moment style event to happen. If you can get the guy somewhere, if whoever you're fighting, you don't know, whoever Bond is fighting at the moment, you get just the right angle on something, you break it, and then that'd be great. That'd be nice. Hang on, let me see that shirt. Okay, more exploding barrels. Okay, so this guy looks like he had an AK. So this was somebody actively shooting at Bond, and he was close enough just to run at him. Is that another texture glitch, or is his shirt ripped? I think that's a texture glitch. Yeah, Daniel Craig vibes there, but the good Daniel Craig vibes, when he just burst through a wall, because why not? I'm catching texture glitches. Thank you, IO Interactive, for making me a part of your partnership, and hopefully I'm not destroying all of your self-esteem. So, yeah, his muscles are coming through the shirt there, and his back muscles through there. But yeah, this was just some henchmen. I could see an interrogation scene coming out of this if he goes for it, or maybe this was an interactive thing you could do optionally. That would be awesome. Because also exploding barrels. Why would they be there if they're not important? I feel like exploding barrels are going to be very, very important in this game. Okay, so that's a garbage truck. That's a garbage truck with boxes. I think it's a garbage truck, right? Let's go with it. Let's go with the garbage truck. But there are boxes here. Could this be your escape from the party? Oh, hang on. Parking. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that. You're going to do that to escape from the party. Could most of what we're seeing? So another game. There was Bloodstone. There was a tuk-tuk level. I think it was tuk-tuk. I think that's what that was. Obviously I messed up the gun barrel. But most of this trailer seems to take place in this one location. It's in this one museum where we're going to be sneaking around or shooting, dressed in this attire. So I'm thinking most of the game can't take place in this one location, right? It's a Bond game, especially because we saw other locations in the trailer. So I'm going to guess this is early on. Maybe it's your first assignment. Yes, the Spencer Mansion. Everything's out to get you just for the street cred. But I think this would maybe if this is your first level after training, this could be a neat way to give you a gun barrel. I still want the gun barrel. Please, IO Interactive, make that the beginning of the game. And an original song. Thank you. Now, for the title. My theory. Again, my theory is that the reason why it is called First Light is because Ooh, Patrick, do you think so? Actually, yeah, because in the original teaser trailer, the hand was gloved, and that could go back to Iceland. That could go back to that can go back to that little piece there, which I'm sure is going to be the opening of the game. Kind of like the Virtuous Mission, or just the pre-title sequence. That could be interesting. I like that. Hang on to that theory, Patrick. Write that down, or keep it in your back pocket. I like that. So, yeah, I'm thinking. I don't think they're gonna play it safe. I don't think they're gonna play it safe and just like retread Man with the Golden Gun. But after taking the time, sitting here with you guys for an hour, wow, it's a 3-minute trailer. It took me an hour. It's not over yet. I'm thinking, since we saw those islands, we saw those boats, and it's very much reminiscent of the Man with the Golden Gun. Could this, again, could First Light be the operation name of this game? Which I'm sure will be, but kind of like Thunderball. But will it be about getting back the Solex Agitator, or destroying whatever the hell Scaramanga's doing, or the Scaramanga knockoff? Because they said 009 is the bad guy. Do you think they could be holding on to the real villain reveal to be Scaramanga later? And am I dreaming? So, especially because the fights Bond keeps getting into, the sword fight, the hotel fight, looks like a hotel fight. He threw that guy out the window, it looks like. Could they give us Knick Knack? I could be looking too deeply into this, but could it be Knick Knack? So, actually, also let me do something else here in here, because there we go. I put it in the tags, but also I think they would want that there too. It's Christopher Lee. I know, and that's what kind of scares me. I feel like that scares them too. So I don't know if they're going to actually give us Scaramanga, or if 009 is going to be the replacement for Scaramanga, and he's just going to be the bad guy. Like on his private little island with solar power. And he's a millionaire hitman. So, I'm incredibly interested. So, it looks like water. It looks like they're in a boat. That's good. I was going to say oil, but that doesn't make sense. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crocodile alligators? Gralligators? I don't know.
I suppose this is another teachable moment.
But also, I'm wondering how this plays in, because they've been abducted, looks like, by pirates. Why? But we don't know much. We don't know many of the details yet about the game, so makes sense that we don't know about this. And it looks like Morgan from The Walking Dead here. I think that's his name, right? That's Morgan. I think he's gonna die early on. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think we're gonna go on a mission with him pretty early on. I think he's gonna die. I think it'll be kind of like a Kingsman kind of thing. Remember in the first Kingsman movie, where is it Colin Firth? Is that the actor? I'm brain farting and everything that isn't Bond right now. But he dies, and then Eggsy has to take over and pretty much be Bond. So I'm wondering if he's gonna die at the hands of 009, and Bond avenges him. Which actually we can go back a little bit when every piece needed to be on the board. Hang on. We can get there. I can scrub it. There we go. Hang on. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 7 double O's in the room. We saw this also in Thunderball. There's no Morgan. Morgan is not here. So, I think that's what's going to happen. I think Morgan is going to die, and we have to avenge him. Either that, or he's going to be the boss, pretty much, and go not AWOL but defect. At which point I'll be like, well, First Light, that's awfully close to the Metal Gear Solid 3 you're doing. I don't know if you want to do that. It's a great game, fantastic game, but I don't know if you want to do that. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens here. Also, it would make sense if this is the bunch, because 007 Bond, and then you have 6 others. So maybe other 00s are dead because they go up to 009. Except, well, maybe Morgan is 008 and 009 kills him. Interesting. Maybe. I dropped my water. Good thing the cap was on.
I need all my pieces on the board.
009 is a master.
Wait a minute, hang on. Because this guy... What's going on there? Did he not hear this? Or did they do something where they just reloaded the checkpoint and got the footage?
009 is a master.
Oh no, he's probably still under the effects of that. Okay.
Whatever the end game is, we won't see it coming.
Also, I'm seeing that they're reusing a lot of face models. I don't know if that's intentional or if I was supposed to pick up on that because I wasn't supposed to be watching this for an hour. So, because the guy Bond takes the gun from and kicks over the balcony is the same person, but they're in different locations. And even here, yeah, look, explosion. Get those Bond moments. You got all these explosions going on. You have all these guys shooting at you. Get the Bond moments, because you're levolutioning at all. So go after it.
Jet lag gets me every time.
She's not your friend, Bond. She's an asset.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get the same structure as Casino Royale. I think that's what's gonna happen here. We're gonna get the same structure as Casino Royale, but we are probably going to get a familiar villain, if that makes sense. A familiar style villain, not Scaramanga, I would say, but a familiar style villain. I'm very interested in this. And cut back to this. So yeah, I'm very excited. I think this there's a lot to theorize about. I am very excited to theorize even more on Wednesday when we get the gameplay reveal. And hopefully we get a release date. That'd be awesome. Please, give me a release date.
Another teachable moment.
And for those of you with a Switch 2, it comes to Switch 2. I don't know who Glacier is. Let me check. Let me actually check that. IO Interactive. Is that just the engine, do you think? Glacier models. No. Okay, yeah, it looks like that's their engine they're using. They're using Glacier. Like how DICE uses Frostbite. Okay. I don't know what Delphi is down there. What if... Oh, it is coming to Steam. Okay, so PS5, Xbox, Steam, Epic Game Store, Switch 2. Which is weird because everything else seems to come out on PS4 and Xbox One as well anymore. Except Indiana Jones. But, you know, it's exciting. I don't think this is going above T rating, if I'm being honest. Because it's a James Bond game. I don't know how well it'll sell if they make it an M rating. Because with Bond, you get like the tippity taps and flirting of going over the line of T and PG-13, but it never goes over. Like, it is... Sometimes you have a strong PG-13 like Casino Royale, like License to Kill. Sometimes you have a strong T rating like GoldenEye Rogue Agent, but you never get past that, I don't think, with Bond. So I would be shocked if they turn around and they're like, it's an M-rated Bond game. Why? What did you do? At that point, I don't know. Well, I don't want to be like, I don't know if I want to stream it, because that'd be kind of mean. But I don't want it to go too far with things. That makes sense. So yeah, I really want it to be T. Kind of like the Uncharted games. At least that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. It's going to be not Uncharted adjacent, but it's going to be on the same rung of T rating as Uncharted. So I'm good with that. I'm happy. Okay, there's no post credit stuff. I've already signed up and got that from IO Interactive. I'm interested to see how that works. I'm gonna play the game with normal costumes at first, but if it seems as fun as it looks, I'll play it again. So that's true, because in the older games we did see him smoke and drink, and that was T. So well, I don't know if he smoked. I know he drank in the older games. But I think it's very exciting. There is an old piece of Bond media I also pulled up on YouTube to watch as well, and it kind of reminded me of this. It's not this exactly at all, but it really reminded me of the push IO Interactive is doing, and it's not a bad thing at all. But oh, Patrick, are you saying people have gone soft? Because I mean, I agree. Because remember in man, I actually remember in one of the old Bond books I had. I still have it, actually. It's upstairs. One of the old Bond books I had. They took pride in the fact that, like, Pierce Brosnan has never smoked in a Bond movie, and then they rewrote it after Die Another Day. And then they're like, oh no, he smoked in Die Another Day. Because they were writing about how smoking is not healthy, and it was looked at as cool in the 80s, where Timothy Dalton lit his last cigarette in License to Kill. Pierce Brosnan has not lit a cigarette or a cigar in his James Bond outings. And then the next page was Die Another Day, and they were like, oops. So, because he smokes on the beach there. Oh yeah, and even like I found it funny when I got older, because Ray with like goggles on his head and the cigarette coming down, that was just a goofy looking Solid Snake. I don't know if Kojima wanted that, but that was just a goofy looking snake. Is there any more? Or it's just okay. It's just like legal text, right? Not legal text. Tune in for the gameplay reveal this summer. Well, I mean, it's like the end of summer. You got like 2 weeks left of summer, at least in the season. But kids are already back in school, dude. But let's see. Still counts? I guess. It's like when they said Metal Gear Solid was coming out in the summer, Metal Gear Solid 5, and it came out like 2 days before I went back to school. So let's see. Was it this one?